Welcome back to another Cavs game reaction. This one for game 36 that took place on Sunday. It was actually an afternoon game, took place at the same time as the Browns game, and I'm in the Cavs jacket because the Cavaliers picked up a win over a really bad Spurs team, 117 to 115. Although shout out to Chetty Osman doing his thing there, and just kind of like the Cavs getting a bit of a sort of win here, where yes they won on the scoreboard, but it wasn't exactly the way that I think a lot of the Cavs coaching and players and fans felt like it should have been. I think the Browns also got a sort of win on Sunday too, where yes, they lost on the scoreboard, but there were no major injuries to any major players. There were some guys who had to leave early with some ailments, but nothing backbreaking for the Browns. And for the Cavs, they beat a Spurs team that, they have some decent pieces. Obviously, a great piece in that first overall pick in Victor Wembanyama, but again, the Spurs team that really doesn't have much going for it this season. The matchup between Wemby and Jarrett Allen honestly was a really good one. I think I would say Jarrett Allen more than held his own. Both players showing out in that game. Wembanyama with 5 blocks, 24 points, and 10 rebounds. His ability to draw fouls and just his skill in general were a big part of San Antonio's comeback effort late in that fourth quarter. And Jarrett Allen, for his efforts, he put up 29 points, 16 rebounds, 5 of them offensive, and just had a crazy block to prevent a Wembanyama dunk. And when you look at the final score, those 2 points maybe could have pushed the game into overtime had Jarrett Allen not gotten that block there. Allen getting to the free throw line as well, and he made all 7 of his free throws. So, I would definitely give him player of the game for the Cavs, but there are definitely a couple of other candidates that could try to wrangle in that accomplishment as well for themselves. Both of them coming off the bench with a starting 5, not really having a whole lot to write home about in this one. Donovan Mitchell, cold from outside, going 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. One thing I do want to point out about Donovan Mitchell in a positive light, though, he did nab 9 assists, and I think overall, just throughout this season, that is an aspect of his game that's really picked up for him this season, is him dishing the rock and doing some good things as a distributor that he hasn't really done as well in the career previous to this one. So I think Darius Garland, his injury definitely has something to do with that, where Donovan Mitchell can now become the primary ball handler for an extended period of time now, and it's going to be a little weird to see how they adjust to that when Garland gets back. I mean, although I still would have think for the game on Sunday, Donovan Mitchell would have rather had gotten the assists while shooting a lot better for sure. Both Okoro and Wade weren't very impactful in this one in the starting 5 either, with Wade only playing 11 minutes, didn't make any of his shots. Niang actually took up 27 minutes on the floor, so Dean Wade pretty much essentially benched for this one. Although Isaac Okoro did nab 4 offensive rebounds, so creating some more chances. I'm not going to completely say that they were super awful or unplayable or anything, just not really having an impact being in the starting lineup. And then you have Max Strus going 2 for 9 from 3-point range. He was the only starter to hit more than 1 shot from beyond the arc, and he shot pretty poorly from there, going 2 for 9, obviously. So where did the scoring stability come from for the Cavs? It was definitely from, well, again, Jarrett Allen putting up 29 helps, but a lot of it came from the bench, with Karis LeVert having another 20-plus point performance coming off the bench with 23. He was 9 for 13 overall shooting, 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. Also had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals as well. Sam Merrill continues to be leaned on, contrary to what I said when all those injuries first happened, where I went on there and said, hey, yeah, Sam Merrill probably isn't going to be getting, too many minutes in crunch time, but Sam Merrill has definitely blown that statement out of the water. That take aged poorly, like as poorly as milk as it could have for that one, with the depth on the bench definitely helping raise the Cavs up when they needed it in that second and third quarter. Merrill going 5 for 9 from 3-point range, hitting a few free throws as well to hit 18 points for his game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds in that afternoon game on Sunday as well. The only bench player not really getting significant minutes was Craig Porter Jr., who got 4. Didn't even get up 1 shot. He had 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 1 block. So even though he only got 4 minutes, he did have a triple single in that sense. So good for Craig Porter Jr. to see some of the floor and do something with it. Tristan Thompson got out there as well, got some points, some boards, did some good things. I think Thompson's been actually a pretty good, steady veteran presence as a big there, especially with Evan Mobley's absence and them needing a bit more from the rest of their bigs in general. I think Jarrett Allen and Tristan Thompson have really stepped up big time. Then, San Antonio in the game in general, they started the game on the right foot for them with, Jeremy Sochan, Trey Jones, and Keldon Johnson. They were doing some pretty good work early in that game to build an early lead for the Spurs, but eventually the second and third quarter kind of saw the Cavs gradually get back into things, definitely played out a little bit more like you would expect them to with where both of these teams are right now and even things up. And in the fourth quarter, at first, it looked like we would end up seeing a final score that would resemble what us Cavs fans sort of expected us to see, especially with those efforts against the Wizards. We thought the Spurs were a bit of a similar team in a bad kind of way, where the final score was probably going to be a bit more lopsided like it was in those two games against Washington. But, with Karis LeVert hitting a layup with about 2.5 minutes left, the Cavs went up by 13, but, after that, they weren't able to score any more points beyond that. You had Victor Wembanyama almost single-handedly pushing the game to either overtime or the Spurs could have won it on a last-second shot. He was hitting his free throws. You had Keldon Johnson hitting a three ball as well in that comeback effort. With San Antonio, they got a foul call overturned on a challenge, and Wemby's block on a Karis LeVert layup later in that game that set up a desperation three from Sochan that just went up but did not go in. So the Cavs, they can kind of, breathe a sigh of relief there, where it kind of felt like during that game it was kind of an issue of, the Cavs, like, hey, Cavs, that there's still a game to play. There's still a final 2.5 minutes to play. You can't just lay down and roll over now. You can't just play, 45.5 minutes and then completely roll over, even though it is the Spurs. But the Cavs, however you thought about the end of the game, it results in a W. So hopefully the Cavs can kind of move on from that late collapse at the end of that game, and they can now prepare for their game in Paris, France on Thursday against the Nets as part of the NBA Global Series initiative. They're trying to trying to put their footprint around the globe, and the Cavs, I think this is their first game off of North American soil, so that we'll see how they react to playing in a different continent, obviously, but it's still going to be the same game of basketball. The game's going to happen at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Brooklyn hasn't been all that great this season. They just lost to the Trailblazers in overtime as I record this, but honestly, they are a real NBA team that can come up and bite you if you don't take them lightly, unlike the Spurs, who have won 5 games as of recording this in their season. So yeah, the Spurs, they are completely down bad. It's definitely a lottery team. They're going to be trying to gun for that first overall pick once again. Whereas the Brooklyn Nets, again, while they haven't been that good, their record isn't that great. They played the Cavs tough in Game 1 of the NBA season, but the Brooklyn Nets, they're at least a respectable NBA team that you do have to actually get up to play against. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far into it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. I cover some other teams in Ohio. Maybe like those videos as well if you like this one. But once again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you at the next one.